Hello! Alright, we're supposed to be live.
Yep.
Now, I hope everyone is doing marvelous, with the exception of our paladin, who seems to have been let down by his divine being and is a bit under the weather. Other than that, for those of you coming back, welcome back. For new viewers, greetings. Welcome into our family. Although small for now, it might eventually become a great one. And if you know anyone who might be interested, please share this, share the information, the love, share D&D. The more viewers we have, the longer this will last. Alright, so last time we've had a chance to see how each of our two groups fared alone. On one side we had our casters having to take up challenges of a more intellectual nature, which mostly meant talking to someone and learning stuff. And on the other hand, we had our more physical party members, those who know how to kick ass and make sure everyone gets out of this fairly injured. Who had, well, a chance to fight to the death, but they chose to use strategy, and it seems to have worked. In the sense that they're both alive.
Always
We dying.
So, when the stream ended, Audience and Tobiyashi were left on the ship who had just fired on the ship they were on. And the smoke hadn't had time to clear. We ended the stream. So this time, we're not gonna start with them, because it's fun making the audience worry a bit. It's healthy for you, I can assure you. We're gonna go with Valtteri and Trevor, who still have a bit of travel to do. They have just ended a short break and are getting ready to enter the Vardo, which they have been sharing with a small elemental creature named Bob, and being led by a diviner wizard named Antasia, which appears to be a human wizard. And it's a good thing we're starting with Valtteri and Trevor, because we seem to have lost audience.
No, I'm here. I just had to turn off my camera for a second.
Okay, no problem. So, Valtteri.
Invisible.
Well, yes, we don't know. We might have been spared from watching something scarring. Who knows? All right, Valtteri and Trevor. You've just got up from the campfire. You were about to enter the Vardo, and this is the last thing we'd heard from you. How do you want to start this evening? Or from your end, how do you want to continue the evening? You'd just gotten up and were getting ready to enter the Vardo.
Yeah.
Bob was walking a few steps in front of Trevor. Valtteri, you didn't say you got up, but I assume you got up.
Yeah.
Antasia was making her way to the front of the Vardo to guide the horses.
Trevor will get up and just, even though Bob's walking ahead of me, I'll just kind of stay back, let him get on first, and then after that, I'll step aside, and if Althari's behind me, I'll just say, after you.
Thank you, and get in.
All right. Well, of course, as... Yes?
Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, of course, as Bob starts climbing the little stairs that go up to the Vardo, you see the Vardo suddenly going down a full foot as he steps on the first steps and then slowly climb up the 2 other steps into the Vardo and disappears at the end of the Vardo in the darkness. How far behind are you from him? Both of you.
I would say, I don't know how deep is the Vardo. I would probably just stay at the door until he got situated where he needed to be, so it wouldn't be rocking all around all the place while I'm trying to get in there. At least me. I don't know about Val, but that'd be me.
I mean, I wouldn't get in immediately, but I would be curious and take a look.
All right. Well, you see him go straight to the end of the Vardo and disappear in the shadows under the eyes still watching you come in.
Alright.
I get in, wave to the eyes, and say hi, Bob.
And I'll just tell Val I'll be in just a minute and shut the door for a second and walk, I don't know, probably about 10 feet away and repeat the thing I thought in my mind the other night, when I was trying to talk to Arena. I'll say, I don't know if you heard me last time, but I'm going to try this again this way, be a little bit more direct, hopefully, but then just basically repeat the same thing, and again ask, I would appreciate acknowledgement that you've at least heard this,
Okay.
And then I'll get back in. And as I get in, I'll give the back of the Vardo a slap so she knows we're in and it's good to go.
Okay. So you repeat this out loud. You don't feel anything from this, but just as you are about to open the door, you feel something hit the back of your head. It's really small.
Well, I told her, I told you, if you're going to be mad at somebody, be mad at me. So, all's fair. And I'll go ahead and get in.
All right. So, you get back in, you close the door, and give a signal. And slowly the Vardo starts moving again. And you are left alone, mostly, inside the Vardo with Bob in the shadows. And did you let Tao in before you left?
Oh, yeah, of course.
All right.
Even if I didn't, I could just summon him right back in front of me, so, yeah.
And where did you place him this time? Watching Bob again, or doing something else?
I'll just sit him down next to me and you can do whatever you want this time. If you want, if you want to go watch the Weird Eyes, you can, but you don't have to.
Okay, well, when you say this, you see Tao take flight and go at the end of the Vardo, beside the eyes, and watching in the same direction.
Okay. All right.
You're used to seeing those eyes, so it's not unsettling. But Valtteri, from your end, you know it's Tao only because once every so often, you see those eyes blink.
Yeah. I don't. What'd you say the color of the other ones were? Of
Yellow.
whatever it is, but yellow. We got yellow and purple eyes watching us now. So
Great. Totally not awkward.
yeah, we got an audience without audience being here.
Oh boy.
Yeah, there's going to be many jokes with that name for sure.
Oh, with a lot of things. It's D&D.
Oh yeah.
So you are now alone in the Vardo with two eyes watching you. Two sets of eyes, I mean, watching you.
Well, yeah, 2 sets that we know of. Probably a third that's invisible somewhere, but you know.
But we also know of.
Yeah, at least our know is around anyway. But well, is there anything else you want to talk about?
The night has just started, so you could just sleep this through, or keep talking throughout the night.
I don't know if I want to stay up all night talking, but yeah, because I could be sleeping during the day. So, but I don't know. You told me a lot about you already, and I got a first name, but I don't think you've told me your last name if you have one.
I mean, I guess I have a last name because of the family I grew up in. That I probably have it also. It's Elfels, so
Cool. All right.
yeah. Do you have a last name?
Yeah, it's Trevor Sorosworn. I think I said it when I met everybody, but I tend to talk kind of fast sometimes, so a lot to say,
Yeah.
a little time to say it in. So, if your friend is still friends with you when everybody gets back, do you want me to keep that a secret, or are you going to tell them about it? I'm fine either way.
I mean, I would only really tell them if she even wants to reveal herself in front of them, so
Fair enough. So, as far as I know, it's just been me and you.
yeah. So, if she feels comfortable showing herself to the others, then I would explain them why.
Yeah. At this rate, she'll probably show herself to them before she will me, so it's all good. I kind of put her through some hell over the past couple days here.
Well, it was also kind of my fault, to be honest, so yeah.
Well, I kind of put you in a quick decision-making situation there, so it was either go with me or try to catch back up with Toby,
Yeah.
who was already hauling ass.
I was worried when, at the beginning, it was just the 3 of us standing there, and I was like, but what is with audience? He's like alone now, and it wasn't that I didn't want the Toby to come with us, but it was also relief knowing that audience wouldn't be alone.
Yeah, I mean, they're the fighters. I mean, how bad could it have went, you know?
Yeah, like the ship
I mean,
can.
it's just a shipwright. I mean, they said there was some risk. That's what kind of panicked me. You know, what if something happened to the cleric who could have healed me while I was there? You know, and I don't think I would have made it through another sickness like I had before. I think it would have
Yeah.
done me in this time, so I didn't want to take any chances.
Mm. I mean, I also have some. Well, I also have a herbalism kit, but I don't know if it would have helped your sickness. So.
Yeah. Yeah, hard to say, and I'd rather not find out the hard way.
Yeah.
So, this war of aberrations and these seeds that the gods seem to have planted in tieflings and whatnot, think there's actually something to that, or it's just one of those urban legend kind of things?
Well, I don't know really. I don't think I really ever spoke to another tiefling, so
Yeah.
I don't know how other tieflings are.
Yeah, Will never mentioned it to me, so I don't know if he's dealt with it, and if he has, if he just kept it to himself. But I know he's had a certain stigma that followed him, people just generally untrusting of them. So I just thought it was just, part of their heritage and their look. But I'm gonna, when we have time around libraries, I'm gonna see if I can dig a little deeper into this and see if there's any truth to this. Maybe put that elf's mind at ease if nothing comes of it.
Mhm. Thank you. Maybe I can also help you dig through the books.
Yeah. Any help would be appreciated. And he looks over to the corner. 4 eyes are better than 2.
You see Tao blinking, and the other eyes doesn't blink.
Oh, how old are you? Tieflings don't seem to generally show age too well, so it's hard to see. It's hard to tell.
I guess when you go, yeah, I'm 18. And you?
Well, about 26. I mean, 25, 26. I'm not really sure, being an orphan, so I'm not really sure when my birthday is, but somewhere around there.
Okay.
And plus, after the fever from the trip, some memories are just fuzzy or completely absent. There's some things I just can't remember at all. So
Yeah. That's understandable. I mean, I never had to go through something like that, but it sounds pretty rough.
yeah, it's an experience. I don't recommend it. I think I kind of run out of stuff to talk about for now.
So after maybe a good 20 minutes of listening to the sound of the Vargo with a little bit of awkwardness spreading into the air, I was about to say hear, but it's probably more feel. Bob getting off of his perch and just jumping on the floor of the Vardo. Of course, as he touches the floor, the entire Vardo starts, not from side to side, but up and down. And you see Bob slowly making his way to the center of the Vardo, toward, about where you are. Doesn't engage, doesn't say anything. He just moves up there, then turns to the other side, where you can see a variety of small things, mostly things that a wizard would use for preparing spells, preparing potions, a mini laboratory, if you will. Gets there, climb a little bench that has a few steps on it, so it's either made for him or made thinking of him also. Gets in there and takes a few vials, takes some sort of cylindrical container, starts mixing things.
Can I do an Arcana check or something to see if I can figure out what the hell he's doing?
Why not? Yeah, sure.
Oh, why not? Yeah. Damn, that's a 15 and plus 6, so 21.
Nice. He's making tea.
Okay. I figured it was something stupid like that, but I'll go check anyway.
I kind of look confused, but mostly confused, but lightly worried, and look over to Trevor like, what is he doing?
Making a bomb.
What?
Making a bomb. Just kidding. He's just making tea.
Okay. You kind of scared me there, you know. I lightly lean back again, my worries slowly going away, and I'm trying to feel my little friend if she's trying to give me a sign of probably hatred still, but...
Well, I wouldn't say... yeah, there's still some anger, but it's no longer a blazing, burning anger. It's closer to a... vivid, slightly warm anger.
It went from like 10 to 7, 6 somewhere.
I have to go to Google Translate for that. How do you spell vivid?
Vivid, it's something that is very clear, very present.
Okay.
A vivid image is an image that is very clear, very bright in what it says and what it looks like.
Okay.
So basically, yes, like Trevor said, it went from a 10 to maybe 8.5.
Great.
Baby steps, little increments, and finally get dialed down in about 2 months.
Beautiful. Not.
All right, so you see Bob touching a few things. Something seems to catch on fire when he just touches a little stone, and the stone starts becoming hot, red, and then fire. Puts one of the pot over it, lets something boil, and then he keeps mixing herbs.
Well, while he's doing that, I'll ask Altari, can I look at your sketchbook since you looked through my book? Just like to see your drawings, just to see what kind of stuff you've seen and drawn. If not, it's fine.
No, you can look. and I lightly nervous handed to him over, and at the beginning it's mostly animals you would see in the forest, like squirrels, some kind of singing birds and that stuff. When you go to the middle, you already see Tau, and before also Orina.
Okay.
And
so
then
you have seen her, so you do have a picture over there. Okay. So that answers the question without me even having to ask it there. So,
And when I see you going to that side with Arena, I say, and that's the first time when I saw her. I was drawing her, and when you keep amidst the birds and the other animals we saw when we were going to the mage tower,
okay,
and then somewhere still in the middle it stops.
okay. So not too deep. How big is the sketch pad? I mean, is it like huge or
No, it's small. It's, I guess,
a sheet of paper kind of size, or a little bigger? Or?
no, a little smaller even. It's like
Yeah,
this,
okay.
but if you fold it open, it's of course a little bit
Okay,
bigger.
gotcha. Okay. Just get an idea of how big it is I'm holding, but yeah, you just
Yeah.
put through it and
And on the last page, where there's something drawn, as you said last time, you see Bob.
Yes.
yep.
Forgot about him.
I'm like,
That was
well,
true.
yep, that's the end. Yeah. I'll close it. So thank you. That was nice. Pretty good
You're welcome.
artist there.
Thanks.
Yeah, I do a little painting, but I am okay, you know, but
Oh, I also forgot sometimes in between it's also like the attempt of drawing a map of the island we were coming from.
Yeah.
Not as good as it actually the map looks like, but
I'm
It's
sure
a
I had
work in
noticed that, and
progress.
I was like, yeah, this could come in handy. You know, it's not exactly to scale, but it works. It's a start. You know. And then he'll finish up and just hand it back to her. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
You hear Bob stuffing herbs inside a little pouch, and then he drops it inside the boiling water.
And I'll say to Bob, I'm guessing that's not for you.
Well, no. Why would you even imagine that?
Just making conversation.
Oh. Good attempt.
So is it for us or the diviner Antasia or all
Well,
of us?
Well, actually, there's probably going to be some leftover, so if you want it, you can have it. But most of it is yes. Antasia just sent me a little message. Said it would help her keep her up.
Okay. All right.
It's a
Yeah.
mix of mistle leaf, cherry blossoms, and tea. And water.
Yeah, I could gather that much of it.
I don't like the water, but Antasia doesn't like it made with mud.
Trevor just gets this half-cocked smirk on his face. And
It's an earth elemental.
yeah, I know. Yeah. They're not exactly the smartest things out there either. So, it's like, okay, just let me know when she's had her fill, and we'll see if there's anything left.
It's gonna be done in a few moments.
Okay.
You see the hourglass there? And he points in a corner where there's something behind a door that keeps you from seeing it from where you are.
No, actually, I don't see it.
Oh. It's an hourglass when all the sand up is
And
going
I'll just
down.
interrupt them. I know how an hourglass
Oh,
works.
okay. Good Lord. You had me worried.
Not as worried as you have me.
Oh. Well, good then.
And I'll just kind of just turn back away from him a little bit, back towards Val, towards Val there.
Hi.
Oh, back to this.
Yeah.
Well, Valtteri, being a druid, you are a bit closer to the element than Trevor would
Yes.
be. So, of course, you've heard about all of the elemental creature that exists. You don't. Well, actually, if you made a religion or.
Nature?
Well, history.
Mm.
And yeah, well, in your case, nature could work. If you want to make a roll to see just how much you know about this, I could fill in some details.
I would love to. And because history is not that high of a proficiency for me, but nature and religion are the same,
All right,
I'll take one of those two.
sure, I'll let you.
Okay, 18 plus 21.
All right. Well, you know that there are a lot of elemental creatures. And while you haven't heard about what Antasia said about other worlds having elemental creatures, of course you've heard that there are other planes, and because of the history of the world, you know there are other shards, so it's easy to imagine that some, being less complete than the one you are on, will probably have a lot of elemental creature. You haven't met a lot of them. You know, because you're a druid, that there are nature, elemental creature, very specific to nature, very centered on nature, and you know that there are other primordial forces that have also expressed themselves as elemental creature. Of course, having listened and seen how a stronger member of your tribe can work with the elemental creatures, some have even transformed themselves into elemental creatures. You've seen the higher end of the spectrum, not the highest, but you've seen some. You've never seen a creature like Bob before. But by looking at him, by what you know, you would expect that he's not one of the smallest creature there is, but he's by far weaker than the strongest that you've seen so far. And you've heard about some that are considered almost royalty among other elemental creatures. Not as powerful as primordial being, but still. So you know there's a wide variety of them, 4 elements, but there are also elements which combined, and life and death are also considered an element by them. So if you mix, for example, life with earth, you most likely get nature. So this is probably the extent of what you know. Since you haven't traveled a lot, as I've said, you've probably seen the very weakest elemental creature, some that your father might have showed you. This, look, Valtteri, this is a small elemental creature, and they mostly live in trees. So it's sort of maybe with your childlike eyes when you first saw them, it almost felt like watching fairies play around. But of course, as you grew older, you sort of realized that, oh yes, of course, some elemental can fly, some can't, and they're just the basic elements.
Okay.
That's the extent of what you would know.
Okay.
And I've said, Bob is probably the first one that you had the chance to see in person. And have a name you can pronounce.
Okay.
gonna say Trevor probably wouldn't be too impressed. I mean, he's seen plenty of golems and stuff, and it's probably not too far from that. So, like, whatever.
In appearance, but still, there is something a little bit wondrous about naturally occurring living Earth.
Yeah. Well, he's just thinking to himself, this whole nature thing. Don't really know a whole lot about it. I'll leave that to Val to teach me some about it. I'm not going to ask him, about the history of freaking elementals, Well,
because you're a wizard and you're used to drawing powers from the elements, you can assume that some elemental creatures are extremely powerful, considering how devastating magic can get.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure he'd gather that, but just from talking to Bob, pretty sure he could tell he's not one of those, so. Might be misleading, but just from what he gathers.
Well, you could always try to antagonize him if you want.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not in the mood. He's much stronger than me, despite his size, and much hardier, so yeah, no. Like I said, Val could kick my ass if she really wanted to, so I'm not going to try and pick a fight with anything that looks like it has any kind of strength to it at all.
And weighs enough to affect the
basically
Vardo.
Just crush me by stepping on me,
Watch your toes when he walks.
Yep.
So, after a few minutes, you see Bob take boiling water out, set it on a little plate, take the middle cylinder, pour the water in, put it back, takes a cylindrical lid, screw it on top of it, shakes a little bit, grabs it with two hands. Oh yeah, she likes it hot. So, and he starts making his way back to the shadowed end of the Vardo. Just before he enters the shadows, he turns around and says, "Oh yeah, cups are on the second cupboard to the right."
Alright.
I look like where he said okay.
Well, Trevor would get up and make his way over there and take two out and just kind of show one to her, like, do you want one as well?
I know, like, sure.
Okay. Go pour the two and bring them back and sit back down and hand her the one.
It's very hot. And as a matter of fact, when you pour it, you sort of realize that, oh yeah, he was using his hands because they're made of rocks. That's really hot.
Yeah, so he kind of goes by just kind of holding them by the rims there, or... You just sit here and just blow on his for about 5 minutes, try and cool it down.
All right, so you have your
Start
tea.
drinking.
So you have your tea, and then do you keep talking or you go to bed?
If you don't have anything anymore, I would say we go to bed.
Okay. All right. Sounds fine to me.
The tea is flavorful, a bit earthy. Not because he added anything, because Mr. Leaf have a little earthy taste to them. But it's good. He makes good tea. Shows that he has practice. And
Probably had it a lot of times.
And so you drink your teas and go to bed.
Yes.
Yeah, I won't go to sleep right away. I'm going to stay awake laying down there for a little while, but I'll save that for when you come back to us. But As we're laying there, I'm sure she'll be looking up at the stars again.
Yes.
Yep.
And before I
I'll be
go to
laying there. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no. Yeah, first that, and before we'd go to sleep, I would say goodnight, Trevor, and also whisper goodnight, Arena. And then I would pass out.
Well, like I say, as you look it up there while we're laying there, I'll just before you pass out, say, so what are you looking for up there? Yeah. Find any answers yet?
I just like watching the stars.
Okay. Yeah, just leave it at that. Continue watching because he's probably a little buzzed now after the tea, so caffeine and all.
Well, it wasn't made to be extremely invigorating. It's mostly
That would
keeping
creepy.
up because of the warmth.
Yeah.
And of course, when you're driving something, if you're eating or drinking something, it helps to stay up. I know,
Yeah.
I've tried it.
Well, that's why I figured it'd have some caffeine in it, because, gotta keep you going there.
No, you actually don't need to. I've tried it a few times that I was feeling very tired and afraid that I might fall asleep while driving and just took something to drink. A little bit of water. I usually have some near me, and if you drink it by just a small sip, you can last quite a while before being in danger of falling asleep.
Because
yeah,
you
like I
make
said,
the
I was-
organs work again.
Yeah, just Trevor had an idea for something, so he's going to do that, for, 2-3 hours after she falls asleep, but I'll save that for when we come back to us. So you can switch up now. It's fine.
Okay. I'll end by saying, as you're watching the stars, you hear Bob say, if you concentrate long enough for the hourglass to be empty again, there's something special that happens with the window.
I will concentrate because I'm curious.
Yeah. Trevor will just close his eyes for about 30 seconds, just clear his mind, and just because his brain was just going a mile an hour. He's like playing connect the dots up there and shit and stuff. So he'd just clear his head and then just open them up and focus on it.
After 10 minutes of watching the window, your senses feels drawn to the window, and you feel a slight suction sort of lifting you up without you actually moving. And for as long as you stay awake, your eyes have the vantage point of the window toward the stars.
Alan loves that.
Nice.
She's going to try try hard to stay awake now, probably.
Only a few hours.
Audience and Tobiyashi,
Well,
you are standing on the main deck of the pirate ship. There is an abundance of smoke covering your sight to the other ship. Tobiyashi, you have managed to act at the same time as the pirate ship captain, and you are able to smash his face on the railing just as he screamed fire. And so you heard 4 detonation, explosion, smoke, and the splash of blood from the face being caved in by the railing.
ooh,
Audience, you unfortunately were a fraction of a second too slow to do anything about what has just transpired. so you are a witness to this. Tobiyashi and audience, what do you do now?
Oh gosh, I just have blood all over my face. Okay. Oh, jeez. I didn't do it in time. Freak. I look over in the ship direction. Can I see anything at all?
Right
Nothing?
now, there's a lot of smoke, so you don't see anything. You hear people shouting orders, but that's it.
I look over the audience. What should we do? Because I have no idea.
Do you know how to get the ship back closer to them?
I've never driven a ship before.
Me neither. Perhaps we should try and find this device that was controlling the skeletons. Make sure it's not doing any more damage. That's something we can do.
Okay. Jeez. All right. I agree. And
I'm gonna cast Divine Sense because that allows me to
Yes?
if I read it off, you can detect good and evil. Until the end of your next turn, you can sense anything affected by the Howl spell or know the location of any celestial, feed, undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover. You can, So I'm going to use Divine Sense.
Alright, so since you can see and you can know the location of any celestial fiend and undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover, you feel maybe a dozen undead on the deck. You don't feel them moving. The entire ship has a slight undead aura emanating from it. But because your view is completely covered for now to the other ship, well, you don't know if there are any skeleton left on the other ship.
Okay. Sir Tobiyashi, go check the captain for any device that might give us a hint to what's going on.
Okay. All right. I go over and I search the captain's dead body.
Well, you don't find much. There are his scimitar and his dagger. You find a small medallion on him, seemingly made out of gold. You find a little pouch on his side that is closed. It's a pouch that has closed with a flap and a little. In this case, it's a bone that you just slip through a hoop to close it. And you also find a small leather pouch, similar to what you would put your gold in, but when you jiggle it a little bit, it doesn't make any sound. But you feel there's some weight in it, so there's something.
All right, I bring everything I found in the audience and search through it.
Yeah, we'll open the pouches and stuff. I'll check the medallion, see if there are any
A leather pouch.
So, on the medallion, it seems to be made out of gold. It has the right color for it, but it's slightly tarnished. So probably not exactly made out of gold. It's slightly damaged and it looks a bit old. But other than that, nothing seems to stand out. The leather pouch has a small orb inside. It seems to be filled with a thick smoke. There's no way to open it. It's really just an orb filled with smoke. Inside of the pouch that is closed with a flap and a little bone nut. There are 2 potions.
Okay. I'm gonna turn to Toby and I'll be like, well, it doesn't seem like whatever was controlling the skeletons was on him, unless it's this orb. But I don't know. It doesn't. I like picking it up. It doesn't seem to be doing anything.
All right, so this is the only thing we could do. I go over to the railing of the ship and I'm going to yell into the mist. We've taken over the ship. Try to get across if you can. And I'll try to. Is there still like the freak? What is it called? The that bridge that goes across? Yeah, the plank. Yeah. Is it still on the side?
No, well, it's still there, but it's retracted.
Jeez. Okay, so I don't know how to retract it. I've never been on a boat.
Well, you don't remember anyone retracting it. It seemed to have retracted by itself.
Okay, and I don't see the other railing of the boat at all. It's nothing.
Right now, the smoke is still very thick. You can hear people shouting, "Fire, fire, get the woundeds." You hear someone shouting, check the lower deck, but you can't see on the other side. There's still way too much smoke. Enough smoke that it would make you think that something is on fire on the other boat.
Okay, I turn over to the audience. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go see what's going on over there, and I'll be right back. I jump on the railing, and I'm gonna jump across to the other boat, well, into the mist. Hopefully there's a boat on the other side.
Nice!
Okay.
This is risky.
Yes!
Well, he
Risk, high
does that.
reward, you know. Hey,
While he does that, I'm gonna go start checking I'm gonna start going to try to find like a hold or something so I could go into the lower deck and see if I can find anything. I was controlling these skeletons.
Alright. Then, Tobiyashi, I'm gonna have you make a dexterity roll.
Okay.
I will say acrobatics, but I'm gonna have to make you do it at disadvantage because you're jumping into the smoke.
Okay, all right. I knew what I was jumping into. I got this. That is a 10.
Hoo-ah. All right. Well, you jump, and as you clear the smoke, you realize that you are in the right direction. Unfortunately, the main bridge has suffered too much damage, and you are above your ship, but you are free falling straight to the deck below on the other ship.
Oh gosh. Brace for impact.
Yeah. Well, fortunately for you, probably because you're so agile, you only take 2 points of bludgeoning damage from the fall.
Gosh, thank you. Oh. Yeah, that just buckles my ankles real quick. I get back up and I'm gonna look around and from the pain of my ankles. I look around and what's going on in the lower deck?
You see people scrambling. There are people just lying on the floor, seemingly dead. There's a lot of people scrambling about, trying to get buckets, trying to extinguish the fire. You see people going to the lower decks. You can see the upper deck has been mostly devastated. The blasts from the other ship actually managed to pierce through the hull and go inside the ship. So there is also a little bit of fire inside the ship.
Yeah, but not sinking yet.
It doesn't seem to be sinking. However, it doesn't seem to be far from starting to sink.
Okay, I'm gonna run up on the top deck and go to the edge and look for the bridge on this side, if there is one, if there's still one. And on the way, I'll look for like the captain if I see him on my way running to it.
Okay. Well, you don't meet anyone important that you know on your way up. You do meet a lot of people. Apparently, there are a few cracks at the bottom of the ship. The blast really perforated the hull, killed a lot of people, and weakened the structure of the ship in general. So you hear people running around. You hear people shout for material to repair the ship. And as you get up on the deck, you are greeted by a skeleton, not moving, staring in your direction, seemingly waiting for orders.
I guess I tell him to help the people on the boat. I'm gonna, yeah, I talk to the skeleton. I'm like, help the people that are injured. Try to find a way to get everybody across the other boat. Just talking to a skeleton, I guess.
He's not reacting.
Oh gosh, useless. I'm gonna go to the nearest person and I say the exact same thing that I just said. Try to find a way to the other boat. We took it over and we gotta save as many people as we can. As much stuff as we can. The skeletons won't hurt you. Let everybody know.
As you say this, you hear a small voice behind you say, "Oh, did I do something wrong?" It's Grim.
Right. Okay. I turn around to him like, what did you do?
You told me to wait for you, but you solved everything yourself. Did I do something wrong? You didn't want to include me?
Oh, no. No, it's just, things went, off the railing. Stuff that wasn't supposed to happen happened, and, we had to improvise.
Oh. Alright then.
Alright, but let everybody know, that we need to get to the other ship as fast as possible.
Okay.
Okay.
He turns around and he just starts screaming, and he screams a lot louder than you'd expect a creature like him to be able to scream. Get to the other ship! Get to the other ship! The other ship is ours! Get to the other ship! It's ours!
Alright, and then I look for the bar to get to the other side, or the bridge. That's it.
As you start looking around, you notice that there are a lot fewer skeletons than when you left. And as you look in front of you, you realize that the blasts from the other ship, yes, blasted a large part of the upper deck, but it also blasted the portion of the deck which was closest to the enemy ship, which was where the skeletons were. So there are maybe only half a dozen skeletons on the deck, all unmoving.
What to do with the skeletons? They're not trying to attack us or anything as we're running past or anything?
No, they're just standing there, seemingly waiting for something.
I yell, back through the mist, to audience, into where I last seen audience. Try to make a command to the skeletons.
Okay, I'd say audience. Ooh. Make a perception roll.
Alright.
He has. I'd seen that he has the medallion still because I didn't jump across with it.
Well, last
Like,
you've heard, he
stuff.
has he has a medallion, a little glass ball with smoke in it, and 2 potions. While Tobiyashi was doing all this, audience, was there anything you were hoping to achieve? Or did you just wait there? I think you're muted. I can't hear you.
Yeah.
No, still can't hear you. No.
Did you maybe accidentally hit a button on your...
Maybe you unplugged it.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. No, I was gonna. As I was saying, I was gonna try and find the lower deck and see if I could find what was controlling the skeletons. I was gonna check out the ship.
Okay.
Tobiyashi did.
Okay, so while Tobiyashi doing this, you're looking through the ship. Well, you find your way, you easily find your way to the lower decks. The general design of the ship is similar to the ship you were on. It's slightly bigger. It has 2 masts instead of just 1. But the general design is very similar, so it's relatively easy to find your way to the lower deck. Nothing is lit anywhere. As you walk through the main deck and as you get to the deck below, you cross a few skeletons that are just not moving. They seem to be waiting for something.
I will hold up both the orb and the medallion and try and give them a command. Like a very simple command, just like take like 3 steps forward or something, just to see if either of those were the items.
They don't react.
Alright, then I'll continue to head to the lower deck.
Okay. So you easily get to the lower deck. Most of it is abandoned. It seems like it's been not well lived in. There are some hints that there was a little bit of living in this boat, but really not a lot. There probably has been nothing living in that boat, with the exception of the captain, for quite a while. The hulls are all dark. The wood seems to have dried a little bit, as if it was abandoned. Do you keep exploring?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep looking till I find something that I would have, like an undead or something, some kind of presence.
You keep moving forward, and you get to the lowest deck of the ship. You would say you're almost as far to the back as you can go. You find yourself in front of a small door, really wide enough for a human to comfortably get through. For you, it's a little bit of a tighter squeeze, but not uncomfortably tight. The door is closed.
Okay.
You can barely see anything in there. There is a faint light which seems to be emanating from the mist that is around you, but it is so dark.
Alright, I'm gonna cast Divine Sense again. Nice to find this.
Again, you feel a slight undead aura coming from the ship. That's it. Because you can't see behind the doors, and the door in front of you is closed.
Oh, I mean, okay. So I didn't know it was closed. I would try to open the door first.
All right. The door opens easily, and as you find yourself into this small room, there is a powerful undead aura coming from a large stone, purple in color, maybe the size of your chest. floating
Okay.
at waist level. It is slowly pulsing. It is emanating
Cool.
a powerful undead aura.
Oh, okay. Um, I guess I'm not gonna touch it, but I'll like walk up. I'll start walking towards it. Inspect it.
With your divine sense on, I'd say it has you feel a physical reaction to this, as if you were trying to force yourself to breathe in a bag where you had left an extremely smelly cheese for a few days in the sun.
Okay.
But doesn't seem to be a reaction other than that undead stink.
Okay. And it's just the stone?
Yep, a large crystal, purple in color, pulsing slowly, rhythmically.
Alright. I'm gonna light a torch so I can inspect it better. Use one of my torches.
Okay. You light it very easily. It pushes back the darkness. You can see around you. There are faint runes on the floor and on the ceiling. And with every pulse, you can see a little bit of magic going through them. It feels like you're standing next to a heart. The rest of the room is completely barren, with the exception of the walls. No place to light any sort of torch or candle. There is just that stone hovering at waist height.
Okay.
The-
Well, I can assume that this is what is controlling the skeletons, but I don't know how to activate it. So I'm gonna try touching it with the amulet that was on the captain.
doesn't react. It keeps pulsing slowly.
Okay. I'll try touching it with the orb that was on the captain.
No change.
I'm gonna leave it for now. I head back up to the top deck and see if I can help anyone, because I don't really know anything about this.
All right.
And it's stone. If it wasn't stone, I would hit it with my sword. It's stone, so I don't think that would do much.
All right. So you go back to above deck, and did you make that perception roll I asked earlier?
I did. It was a 13.
A 13.
Hey.
You get back to the deck, and you don't hear anything special. You keep hearing people shout for different materials, for water. You can't make out anything specifically.
Okay. I guess I'll just wait. I'll wait till I see someone. I don't know.
The smoke has slightly lifted. You can sometime barely see someone moving on the other side. So you are fairly certain that if Tobiyashi succeeded in jumping and didn't land in the water, he's probably on the other ship, which seems to still be floating for now.
Okay.
But you can't see anything specific. The smoke is still too thick.
Okay. Is there still the fog all over the ship?
Yes?
I'm gonna try breaking the orb.
Okay, how do you plan on doing this?
I'm gonna throw it on the ground.
You throw it on the ground, and you hear a sound that feels like you've just thrown a glass on the floor, but it doesn't break. Instead, it slightly bounces and starts rolling away.
Oh gosh.
I'll go try and pick it back up.
I'd say make a dexterity check. Flat dexterity
Okay.
check.
14.
Alright, you manage to catch up to it and take it back. As it is
All right.
rolling.
I guess I'll place it on a surface and then try to hit it with my. Actually, I'm gonna take out my shield and try and like smack it with my shield. See if it breaks.
Just
Alright.
Punch it.
You take your shield and you hit it as hard as you can. It feels like there's something protecting it because you are almost convinced that as your shield hit it, you hear a sound very similar to the sound that you heard when the projectile hit the barrier around the ship while it was under attack. It resonates and pushes
Okay.
back your shield. However, you do know that that sound, if it is as similar as the barrier around the ship, means you probably were going over its tolerance. You might be able to get through if you keep bashing it like this.
I will keep bashing it. I will sit there determinedly and punch it repeatedly.
Alright. Tobiyashi, on your end, you don't hear anything back from audience.
Gosh. I look for the captain around the ship, see if I could find him. At least what's left of him.
Yes, you easily find him. He is on the main deck giving orders to help save the ship. You see other people starting to try and hook the ship from behind the smoke with different grappling hooks.
Okay. I'm gonna go up to the captain. Captain, we need to get everybody off of this ship and onto the other one because it's not going to last for long.
Oh, this ship has seen. Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. It hasn't. It has never seen this bad, but it's not sinking yet, and I would like to save it. But you say the other ship is ours?
Yes, it's ours. I've got rid of the captain over there.
All right.
And the skeletons won't attack you. They're waiting for orders from something.
All right. Well then, we probably should evacuate as many people on the other ship. Make sure that everything's there. After that, try and see if we can save this ship. So he turns around and he starts ordering everyone to evacuate the ship.
Alright, I start helping injured people to the other ship and just helping people.
Okay. Audience, as you are bashing the orb with all of your strength, you hear a little voice saying, "Audience, this is your god." Ouch! Sorry. The sorry you hear, you identify as being Grim. Because he's said that before.
Okay. I'll be like, hey, Grim, how'd you get over here?
I'm not. I'm using a spell.
Okay. What do you want?
I wanted to see if you were still alive.
Yeah, I'm pretty hurt, but I'm doing okay. Right now, I tried to bash this orb open.
You found an orb?
Yeah, it's this orb with a bunch of like smoky, fog-like material inside of it. I think if I break it, the mist might go away.
I only got the first part of this. This is a minor spell. You only have a few seconds to reply. After that, it cuts.
Oh, breaking orb trying to stop mist spell.
Okay. Where did you find the orb?
On the captain.
And you took it? On your own?
Yes.
Without protection?
I mean, the captain's
Wow,
dead.
you're brave. I wouldn't have touched something on a dead corpse. You're really brave. And you say you're trying to break it?
Yeah, I'm punching it right now with my shield.
Wow, that's
It seems to have
brave.
some barrier.
Sometimes they explode, you know?
I didn't, actually. I stopped smacking at it for a second and kind of looked at it like a little more closely. Like, is this gonna explode on me?
Well, there's no sign that it's about to explode. However, you do notice that there is a small crack on the orb.
Well,
And you hear this little voice saying, "Are you still alive? Did it explode?"
Yes.
did it
I mean,
explode?
I haven't broken. I haven't broken it completely, and it has a crack on it. I think if I give it one more solid hit, it'll probably break.
Oh, well, it's your life, you know, if you want to try. I mean, something good could happen, but something really bad could also happen. You know, bad objects sometimes. They have
Yeah,
nasty
I'm gonna be
ways
like, I'm
of-
gonna try throwing it again, so I'm not right next to it when it breaks.
So it exploded.
All right. I get it.
Okay, I'm gonna pick up the orb and I'm gonna chuck it at I'm gonna stand about 15, 20 feet back, and I'm gonna hurl it at the the mast of the ship.
Yeah.
Not the
And now
mast,
the-
the
now-
wall,
now
the cabin.
Now the other ship's going down.
Oh gosh,
Nah,
it destroyed us. We just got out of a bad
Listen.
situation.
my intelligence is not that high. Okay, I'm very focused on my task of breaking this orb.
You throw the orb as hard as you can on the mast.
Like-
I would say make an attack roll and just tell me how you got.
Okay.
Echo.
Plus anything or just an attack roll?
No, this would be an improvised weapon.
Okay. So that'd be plus nothing. Or
Yeah,
plus
you
strength.
don't
'cause
get
I'm
your
throwing it.
proficiency.
But would it be plus strength because I'm throwing
I'd
it?
say
Or-
dexterity because you're throwing
Okay.
something.
That's 17 then.
No, that's still very good. You hit the mast of the ship, and as you hit it, you do hear an echo of power, and you feel the whole ship shake for 1 or 2 seconds. Then you see the
It has
orb
what-
fall on the ground, and the ship stops shaking.
Okay. I'll be like, that was cool. I'll go and check the orb. I guess. Just
The crack seems to have gotten
got a
slightly
crossbow.
bigger. Tobiyashi, on your side,
Okay.
you, as you are helping people try to hook the other ship, you feel this tug on the rope. But it stopped immediately. And you start seeing other people around you being a little mystified by this, but They look around, they see the ship still burning, and they keep making their effort to try and cross over to the other ship. You do see another gangplank being fashioned out of whatever they could find, and try to make a makeshift bridge out of it, because the ship has drifted a little bit. It's a little too far for a traditional gangplank, so they're trying to makeshift something large enough to cross easily.
Yeah. I'll wait for that, and like I'll just keep pulling on the rope, waiting for whatever to happen, waiting for the ship to get closer.
Alright. Audience, you hear this little voice saying, "Are you still there?"
Yeah, but the orb I think is almost broken now, but the whole ship shook when I almost broke it.
So you almost broke it and the ship shook. Well, this would stand to
Yeah.
reason that something big is gonna happen if you break it. I don't know if it's gonna be something good or not.
One Piece.
Maybe I'll wait for the priest to come over, who might know more about this kind of stuff.
Or if you give me enough time, I can tell you.
Oh, sure. I guess I'll wait.
Alright. And you wait for... you hear nothing for a few seconds, and then you hear... Well, someone said it was probably a good idea. We'll be right over.
Okay. I kind of sit cross-legged and just stare at the orb, like, intensely. Kind of like
Oh my gosh.
judging it now as an opponent.
Alright.
I'm not done with you yet.
Round 2's coming. Alright, so it does take a few minutes for the crew to be able to properly hook the other ship, because since part of the main bridge is gone, it's hard to find places to tie this rope to and to get close enough to throw it. But there is still a part of the ship that is very close, so they managed to hook the other ship and managed to make something out of it. By that time, most of the smoke has cleared, and each of you can see something. Well, Tobiyashi, you can see the other ship, but this fog is still on the main deck. An audience is looking at the ball as if it was a very important ball in front of a dog. So you don't really notice the fog has lifted. Not the fog, the smoke.
Okay. Alright.
So Tobiyashi, as you cross, the first thing that you see is this dog. I mean, this dragonborn watching this ball.
I say, what is that thing? Can you help out with some of the injured?
Audience,
I
you
say-
hear this voice coming from very far away. It's like, can you help us? Can you help us?
Yeah, basically.
I'll look out. I'll see Tobiyashi.
You see Tobiyashi, and you see
I'll
a
be like-
few other deckhand,
Carrying someone.
a few other sailors crossing over.
Okay. I'll say, this is the orb we found. I've almost broken it, but I'm not sure if I should finish until someone else inspects it, because the entire ship shook when I almost broke it.
That seems like a good idea. I don't think we should break it at all. I mean, if the whole ship shook and took a couple of shots to take down that other ship, I mean, who knows what that thing could be. And yeah, I
Okay.
go to help out some more people.
So, audience, what do you do? Do you follow the advice of Tobiyashi, or you do something else?
I'm gonna pick back up the orb, but then I am gonna go help.
All right. So you take back the orb and you go help the crew starting to evacuate. The evacuation goes as smoothly as it can when you're evacuating people from a almost broken ship to a ship covered by mist and emanating undead vibes. The captain does come aboard and looks around and seems to be fairly impressed by what the ship looks like. You do see the priestess coming on board, and she has a slightly more worried look to her.
I'm gonna go up to the priestess when she comes on board.
All right.
First, I will show her the orb that I found, that I almost broke. It has the big crack in it. And I'll tell her what happened and how the entire ship shook when I almost broke the orb and ask if she knows what it is.
She looks at it and says, well, I don't think you should break it. It feels linked to this ship in some way. But there is something odd about it when I look at it. Something... I don't know. I'm going to have to study this further.
Okay, and then I'll also tell her about the undead stone that I found on the lower deck.
Alright. Well, we're going to have to look through this ship anyway, because we have to figure out if there are any traps left behind, or if there is anything of value that we could use. So, yes, well, good job.
Yeah.
Because of your effort, we might actually have a very good chance of getting out of this alive.
Thanks. If you've... No, let's see. So there's still... Is almost everyone on board at this point?
No, not everyone. There's still a good number of people on the other ship. You can see that they are also slowly hauling a few reserves of food to on the other ship, just in case.
All right, I'm gonna hand her the orb then and just go help out.
All right.
With everything else.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the rest of the evacuation goes smoothly, as I've said, as smoothly as you can, evacuating a ship that is almost sinking. Maybe half an hour, 3/4 an hour later, there's enough food on the ship to make sure that if you have to use it as an emergency, you can actually get to the port. It doesn't have to be a lot of food because you're only maybe a day away. But still, you never know. Maybe you might have to take a detour or something. So they actually do bring a good amount of food in. You see Grim crossing to the other ship.
Okay.
He's carrying 2 chickens.
Okay.
Well, he was in charge of livestock.
Glad you survived. Yeah. I'll be like, glad you survived, Grim. I don't know what happened when the ship fired, so glad you made it.
Yeah, I've heard. Tobiyashi told me that things didn't go according to plan.
Yeah, I should have just killed the captain, but I told him I wouldn't, so I did it. And then he fired on our ship.
So you wouldn't have waited for me, even if things had gotten according to plan. I see.
Well, I mean, we had you... I fought harder and better knowing that you had my back.
But you said to wait and then help, and you did everything yourself.
Well, I was more competent than I thought I would be.
Oh, I know about that. Underestimating yourself. Apparently, I do this often.
Yeah.
But you know us dragons. We are powerful.
Exactly.
Teardrop.
Exactly.
So he looks at you and says, "You said there were objects. You want me to take a look
Oh
at them?"
yeah. I'll say yes. I gave the orb to the priest over there. You should go ask her about it because she doesn't completely know what it is either.
Okay. Alright, well, take care of yourself. Try not to do anything else that doesn't go according to plan. I don't think we can survive this.
Yeah.
You make good
I'll
plans.
try.
You make good plans, but when they don't go well, they really hurt.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I guess next time I'll just kill the person I'm fighting.
Well, you did something very honorable. You know, there's that.
Yeah.
But some
I
people
guess
aren't.
I had more faith in humanity than I should have.
Some people just aren't honorable. You know, the clan I came from, they killed a lot of people that said, "Please spare us." So, you know, it's not just human, it's a lot of other people also.
Yeah, it's too bad. This is why, if we let the dragons, rule us and be our gods, I think it would be a lot better.
Dragons are gods?
Did I not tell you about that? Yeah.
No! I think I would have remembered if you'd said that dragons were gods, because I am a dragon! This means I am God!
Well,
God.
not exactly.
Oh god.
Not exactly.
What have you done?
We're like we're like the favored species of the gods because we're
Oh.
in their image and created from their
Oh.
image. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, that would make more sense.
Yeah. But like we have a little bit of their power, so it's our job to spread the faith of that these dragons are god and that they should watch over us instead of these other false gods that everyone worships.
Well, that and the lady with the black hair, she was really nice to me.
Okay, I don't know about this lady, but sure. I mean, I'm glad she was nice to you.
Gosh.
She gave me a bed and she fed me. That's...
Yeah, I mean, she sounds like a very nice person. I don't think she's a god, but she sounds like a
No,
nice
but she
person.
deserved to be seen like that. You know, she was nice.
I mean, just because you're nice, I don't think it means you deserve to be seen as a god. I think you have to have a certain amount of power to be able to back it up. But yeah.
Oh, she was powerful also. She taught me a few things. This is... And he reaches behind him and he takes a book out. And you've seen a book similar on Trevor. She even taught me a few things.
Oh, well, she must have been some kind of sorcerer or wizard then. I've met some of those before. Yeah, they have some definitely power, and they can be powerful, but they're not at the power level of dragons.
No, but she was nice.
Yeah, I understand that.
And it's a good quality for a god to be nice.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna go talk to that priestess. You gave me a lot of things to
Okay.
think about. I might have
Glad.
some divine blood. Wow.
Yeah, you do.
Created
Alright,
body.
so Tobiyashi.
Yep, that's your kid, audience.
Yeah.
Your child.
I slowly have the feeling that he will be one of our enemies in the future just because he thinks slowly that he's a god.
Yeah. He becomes a lich later on, and we have
What
to
have you
fight him.
created? He's created our bad guy.
I've created my head priest to continue my religion.
My gosh.
All right, so Tobiyashi and audience, you keep on packing everything, and you hear the captain giving
Oh, keeping
orders
on.
to secure the ship. He plans on leaving at least a few people behind, and try to tow the ship to the harbor.
Okay.
So there's going to be pardon the pun, but a skeleton crew left inside of the ship.
Try and help steer it
Okay.
best they can. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Yes.
Oh, I was gonna say I was gonna go to Tobiyashi and try and show him the room with the dead stone.
Okay. I'm gonna mention this quickly, and after that we're going to go on the break. So yes, you go see Tobiyashi. What did you say to him? He's easy enough to find.
I say, hey, you want to come check out the undead stone I found, which I think was controlling the skeletons?
Why not? And I follow him.
All right. As you make your way to the ship, you notice that a lot of people seems to be excited. You don't get quite to the end of the ship before you start really noticing that some people seem to be very enthusiastic about something.
Okay.
I'll ask someone close to the, what's going on? Why is everyone so giddy?
The person, he looks at you, catch human just running around. So, there's loot inside the ship. Apparently they've been pillaging. There's loot. We're gonna have a nice pay this time.
Oh, that's good. I'm happy for you. And I'm going to keep heading to where audience is showing me.
Audience, you heard what this person was saying. He didn't try to hide it.
All right. I'm like, awesome, excellent. I'm glad we'll get some more money.
All right.
I don't really. My mind's on something else. Cool.
All right. So Tobiyashi, you and audience shows you to this room where there is a large purple crystal hovering at. Well, for you it would be mid-chest because audience is a bit taller than you. The stone, like I said, the crystal is purple, literally the size of your chest, and it is slowly pulsing rhythmically. There is light inside the room. A lot of people have managed to place lights in using different means all over the ship, so you can see actually runes on the floor and on the ceiling, and with each pulse there is a little bit of energy going through each of those runes, as if it was I'd say something between nervous system and artery of the ship.
Well, I'm gonna. Well, do I feel magic coming from it? Would I know what magic feels like?
At this point, it's easy to feel that there's something eerie about this. So, well, no, you wouldn't. You would never have been in a place that is permanently permeated with magic. But you know, you've been on the upper deck. There is a perpetual fog. Below the deck, there is something ominous all around. You notice this little slight fog on the floor that emanates light, a slight light, very dim light, and you're inside this room pulsing with energy coming from the stone and going to the rune. So yeah, it's sort of easy to figure out that there's magic from this. And you could, for future reference, probably believe that, alright, so when I get into a room and it feels like this, it's probably because there's a lot of magic at work.
Yeah. I'll turn to the audience and say, well, from looking around, it kind of looks like it's powering the ship in some way.
Yeah.
Every time it pulses, it makes this weird feeling go through the ship, and yeah, that's all I could say about it for now. I wouldn't touch it if I were you, though.
Yeah, I already thought about that. I actually didn't touch it. I thought about trying to break it, but I didn't.
Okay, I'm gonna go up to the
And
priestess and
Tobiyashi, because it is also part of your training to learn the anatomy of creatures to be able to identify weak points, as at one point you will learn Stunning Strike. So with this knowledge of, well, actually make a medicine check.
oh wow, okay. 15.
All right. So yes, with the knowledge that you have of how the anatomy work, you can translate it in some way to the ship, enough to know that this does look like a vital organ. Not sure if it's the heart, but a vital organ. If you had to guess at where you should strike to cause physical pain to someone and that was this would probably be in your first guess of where you should strike.
Mm-hmm. I'll look around the ship and see if there's any more signs of things like that. Any more vital places that would be powering the ship or...
All right, make a perception roll.
Perception. No way, I gotta go. Oh, wait, no, there it is. 21.
Oh, wow. Well, you don't find anything new, no new organs. However, you do find in many of the rooms, these same runes, and you see in a very rhythmic way the runes lighting up and then fading. So it does feel like there is energy flowing throughout the ship, through those runes.
Okay.
And because
Agree.
you rolled such a good perception roll, you also find yourself in the room where everyone was getting giddy. And there is a fair amount of gold. And also quite a few objects mixed with that.
Oh. Well, I'll look around through it, I guess. I mean, we helped get the ship, so why not? I'll make an investigation.
Well, if you're planning on rummaging through this, picking up things, trying to see, yes, it would be an investigation. If you're just planning on looking at it, having a feel for it,
rummaging
would be
through it.
perception. All right.
Yeah. See if anything gives off a feeling, or I'm just looking for gold. A few gold pieces. Wait, it was investigation?
Yes.
Oh gosh, that's an 8.
Oh, wow. Well,
Always with the good rolls.
yeah. Well, you see a lot of people that have already started rummaging, and you see them opening chests, and there's gold inside. You see them touching objects. and some of them looks different. They feel different. They're lighter. You see a weapon. You see a few jewelry, bottles, satchels. But with that roll, that's about it that you can make out. There are a lot of people in the room. Someone seems to be making an inventory of this.
Okay. Well, I'm around, and then we could go to what audience wants to do.
All right.
Just keep looking through the stuff, just picking up gold pieces every once in a while.
Well, when you try to pick up a gold piece, you hear someone say, "Hey, what are you doing? This is the law of the ship. Everyone shares in this." You've been
That's what we're doing now.
We have to make sure that the share is fair.
Okay.
You're not members of the ship, but you are instrumental in this, so I'm pretty sure the captain is going to give you a fair share. But the share is only going to be a good one if you don't try and cheat.
Okay. I flick back the coin, and I'll say, all right, I'll just wait till it's done, and I'll just look through it, like not touching anything.
All right. So we're gonna take the break now.
Okay.
And we're gonna get back to this right after.
I gotta plug in my computer.
For those watching, be back in 10 minutes. And, well, for those sharing the experience with me around the table, you have a few moments to do whatever you need to do during that 10 minutes. See you in 10 minutes,
back.
everyone. Welcome back, everyone. Yes, everyone's here. Nobody managed to kill itself while we were on break. You know, if you're smart enough to hit something in a fantasy world, you might be smart enough to do the same thing in this world. You never know.
So we should take an orb that has smoke in it.
Just to make sure, you know, the thing that you have in front of you where you can see me and the other person of this group, you shouldn't break it.
Yeah.
Just you see this button here, just punch it really hard. You're like punch your screen, let's see what happens.
But wait after we're done.
Try to do it. Come on, man.
Alright. So let's
See me
get
disappear. Just
let's get back to this.
I know magic.
Sorry everyone, this is Dungeon and Dragon. You know it's going to happen at one point or another. Alright. So, because we left Tobiashi and audience, one trying to steal coins and the other one hoping that we would have a chance to break the orb, I'd say it's probably safer to go back to Valtteri and Trevor. At least
Buy them their time before their ultimate death, you know.
yeah.
Before the whole ship explodes.
All
Yeah,
right.
before they have two sinking ships on their hand.
Yeah.
We'll be able to mash them together, make one worse ship.
One abomination of two shipwrecks.
Yeah,
one like
that could be
Aston.
interesting.
Just tie them together, and then it's just like a pontoon boat where you just get the two there.
Like holding it like Spider-Man.
So, Valtteri and Trevor, you fall asleep with the perspective of the window watching at the night sky. When you wake up, it's morning.
I didn't want to fall asleep right away. I wanted to kind of
All right.
outwait her going to sleep because
All right.
had something I had planned there. But
Okay,
Yes, after-
I pass
of
out.
course.
yeah, I figured she did. She's just going to be too busy looking at that and just till she loses focus and passes out. But anyway, all he was really going to do is just while she was sleeping, he was just taking a good perspective of everything, looking through the window, with the focus there, and take out one of his pieces of parchment and his paints and just do a little painting for a few hours before he went to sleep.
All right. Are you just painting something for fun, or are you trying to make a good painting?
I'm trying to make a good painting.
Then I would
That's why I
say...
said I'll do it for a few hours. I'm trying to take my time with it.
All right, then I would say performance. Well, actually, are you trying to make something pretty or really apply technique to the best that you can?
Trying
Are
to
you-
make it the best I can and pretty. I mean, I would think they'd kind
All
of go
right,
hand
so I'm
in
gonna
hand,
go
so.
with I'm gonna go with performance.
Okay. Oh shit, it's 12. Let me see, but that's plus. Where's
Plus
performance?
2.
But the 2. Plus, I'm proficient with the painter's tool, so I get my
Yes.
proficiency bonus on top of that. So that's 12, 16.
Nice. Still,
Yeah.
you know, you paint and for a few hours, and you look at it, and it's not a masterpiece, but it looks like what you wanted it to look like. You feel you could have done better, but still, it's not bad.
Well, okay. And
You're confident that if you showed it to someone, they would recognize what it is.
hope so. All right. Well, actually, I'll just lay it down to Valkyrie and go to sleep.
All right. So you fall asleep, and you wake up. I would say that you get a long rest, but you haven't used anything that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you wake up in the morning, and well, I'd say Valtteri. Well, hold on.
Should probably wake up first because I stayed up a few hours past her. So.
Well, yeah. My first question would be: are you usually a morning person?
Me?
No, Valtteri.
Yeah.
Character.
Me? Nah. It's like 6:30 a.m. Like, am I? Nah.
Well, I mean, she must be. She's here right now. So yeah.
She's awake. Yeah.
All right. So you are usually a morning person. So you actually do get up earlier. And as you start waking up, turning around, just stretching a bit. Trevor, you said you left the painting.
Yeah. Just laying beside her on the floor there.
So as you turn around, you feel like you're stepping on some
Paper.
papers.
I quickly lift my foot up and look down to see what I just accidentally probably stepped in, hoping it's not one of his books that was open or something.
Okay. Well, the painting was, I guess, you say a depiction. It was you laying there looking at the stars, but the perspective of us as we were focused on it, you were like laying on top of the wagon or whatever it's called.
Cargo.
Yeah, the trees around, the stars up, and all that. So it was just you. I wasn't in the picture at all. So. That's what it
So
was.
you recognize everything he just mentioned. It's not a masterpiece. You're not. you know, you've seen some people in your tribe make drawings that felt like they would come alive just by looking at them. It's not that quality, but you recognize everything he just said easily.
I smile and keep looking at the picture. And not really sure if I should put it to my notebook where I have my pictures or if he wants it back. So I'm just sitting there. So I'm sitting there with this picture drawing in my hand and like a little bit confused. But smiling, happy.
In your confusion, do you just look at Trevor or you look around?
I look like at the picture, then at Trevor, then remembering that Bob is there, so I Bob, then back at the picture.
You see at the end of the Vardo 2 yellow eyes and 2 purple eyes looking back at you.
When I notice Tara and Bob, I say good morning. Back to the picture, back to Trevor. I'm like so confused, not really knowing what to do. So yeah, I'm not used of getting gifts. So if it is even a gift, that is why my character is kind of confused because she has no idea.
So, is Trevor usually a morning person, or he is more of a bit before afternoon, or literally a noon person? Usually. You're muted.
Yeah, my bad. I would say probably generally a short sleeper. You know, once he gets what's required of him, you know, he'd be up and going again, used to cramming for his exams in school and stuff, going on the minimum, you know. So,
Okay.
So yeah, he wouldn't be out too much longer than when Val got up, I'd say.
Alright, so Valtteri, you have to wait maybe 2 hours before you start seeing him starting to wake up, and you hear this sudden interruption in the snoring, and and you're muted also.
While he's sleeping, I put the painting on the side and go through my spells.
Okay. So while you are waiting for him to wake up, you spend the time praying.
Yes.
Alright. So, Trevor, when you wake up, you see Valtteri praying.
Alright. Does she... Well, I'm not going to disturb her. I'm just going to sit there and wait till she's done.
Doesn't take long because she's been praying for 2 hours. And she doesn't know very powerful spells yet, so she's probably almost finished. Takes maybe 10 minutes.
I'll look around and see if the painting has moved since she's woke up from where I put it. I don't know.
It is next to me now.
Okay.
On the bed or whatever I was sleeping on.
Okay. I'll just leave it at that till she's done now.
Well, like I said, takes
Okay,
10 minutes.
Okay. Then when she's done, I'll just say, "Oh, you found it. Nice."
You're
Not
muted
my best
again.
word. God damn it.
No, not you. Valtteri.
Oh, okay.
I only said you.
I had to
so
look.
yeah.
Okay. I'll say, good. You found it. Not my best work, but I had to kind of rush it a little bit so I could get to sleep too.
It's still really good, I think.
You think? Yeah.
I mean,
You guys all?
I'm not really used to people painting me, so.
Some It's been
Do
a
I
while.
really look like that?
Yeah, it's been a while. I didn't have too much time to do it while in school, so I'm a little out of practice. It'll probably get better.
I still love it. Can I keep it, or do you want it back?
Yeah, that's what it was meant for. Yeah.
Okay. I put it into my book where I also have my drawings.
Yeah, just trying to get a trying to see things through your eyes, get a better appreciation for the nature, and its beauty along with its representatives.
As you say this, you hear something fall to the ground, and the ground of the Vardo, and make a huge noise. Feels like someone just let a boulder down.
I
Just
look over to
like,
Bob.
now what?
You see, well, you see at the end of the Vardo, Bob getting up from the floor. Sorry, I fell asleep again. I'm gonna go back to my perch. Sorry. And he climbs back up.
I said, oh, so you do sleep, so that's nice to know.
I looked at Trevor like, I didn't know an elemental sleep.
Well, that's a new one for the both of us.
And actually, Valtteri, I would say...
I know that.
No, I would just say make a intelligence roll. Straight intelligence roll.
Okay, wait, let me look what my intelligence is. Okay. 13.
Well, the only thing that said that you get a fleeting thought about, but I weren't the eyes open a few moments ago?
Yeah. When I was awake before, his eyes were open. How is he sleeping when his eyes are open?
Are you asking the question, or are you just
Yes,
passing the
I'm
time?
Yeah, I was gonna
saying
say, I
that
was about to say, are you asking that
I'm
out loud?
saying that in character.
All right, to who? Trevor? Bob?
Yes,
Yeah?
to Trevor. To Trevor.
All right.
For anybody who's listening, I'm like, I have no idea. You probably know more about this thing than I do. It just resembles a golem. That's about as far as I know. I mean, I know it's elemental, but it's more nature. It's more your territory.
I look over to Bob and how can you sleep when your eyes were open like already 2 hours ago?
He gets back in the shadow, and you just hear his voice say, I don't sleep with my eyes open. That's stupid.
Then who are the other two pair of eyes?
That's not my eyes.
Wait, what? Whose eyes are these?
It's in the shadows. You can't make it out. And as I've stated, it feels like there's something very thick about this shadow. It's not... No matter what happens, there's always a shadowed corner in there. And the eyes are in there.
I doubt this is going to work, but is there something small just laying on the floor, just something I can pick up and toss?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Find one of the teacups or something, and I'm going to use my cantrip and cast light on it and just try to toss it over into that corner, see if it'll illuminate the corner any.
You toss the cup in the corner, and yes, it does illuminate it. Not as strong as you are used to, but still, it does illuminate. And well, first of all, you hear Bob say, "Now, why did you do that?"
I'm trying to figure out what those other two eyes are.
You actually see a little stand on which there seems to be some sort of cap with goggles resting on them. And the goggles are emanating the yellow lights.
Just a pair of goggles, nothing else there?
It's a pair
Nothing.
of
Where are the
goggles. It's a pair of goggles resting on a stand.
I'll ask Bob, so what are those goggles?
That's Antasia's goggles.
So she sees us with them?
I don't know how they work. I just know it's hers, and she told me not to touch them. I think you just muted yourself.
Oh, yeah, I did. Sorry. Could I sit closer to them? I doubt this will work either, but I was going to try and cast Identify ritually without touching them, but I think you have to kind of be up close with them to identify it, so I don't think it'll work.
No, because I'd say some magical object actually discharge whatever they can as soon as they're touched, and you can identify them without activating the magic energy. So I'd say it is possible to identify something without touching it.
Okay, I'll give it a try. I'll spend my 11 minutes ritually casting it just to see if I can figure out exactly what they are.
All right.
Get as close to it and explain to Bob, I'm not going to touch them. I just want to know what they are.
Well, they're goggles, can't you see?
Yeah, but I got a feeling there's something more to them if they're glowing in darkness back there. So,
Well, of course, they've
let
been
me
made
do
by
my
a
thing.
wizard. Of course, they've been made by a wizard, by a diviner. Of course, there's something special about them.
Yeah, I'm just curious to know what. So, just let you know, you don't have to rough me up or anything. I'm not trying to take them. I'm just curious to see what they are.
All right.
And I'll do my thing.
So, yeah, you finish your spell, and it actually is a bit hard knowing what is coming from what, because within the radius of the spell, you have a truckload of magical object around you. There are potions, and you get flooded with this information, with changing colors and names, and and so
Oh, I got a headache now. Oh.
yes, it feels like you're getting a phone book of information trusted in your brain in half a second.
Oh, this felt like finals week. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly what the bird said.
That didn't work. Just too much around here. I'll just ask her later.
Is your bird barking in the background?
Yeah, she makes all kinds of noises. She barks like the dogs and whistles and says all kinds of fun curse words. And yeah.
So, all the information that you've gathered so quickly lingers in your mind, and it actually takes you maybe half an hour for all of this to sort of starting to make sense, and you can actually say, oh, that that information was about the goggles. And so, it's a goggles that is made to essentially give someone blind sense within a certain radius.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those would be handy. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'll just keep that to myself for now.
And, well, like I said, it did take you half an hour for your mind to sort through all of that information and start making sense of it. And
By the time the headache went away, yeah.
Yeah, and you've actually learned a few names of object that you never knew existed. Sort of like a stone of minor feet growing and a potion of eyes clearing. And that, if your mind translated it well, it feels like an earring of ear cleaning.
He just starts thinking to himself, what the hell is this place?
Do you say this out loud?
No, just thinking it to himself, after it all comes to him, like, what the hell kind of shit is she keeping in here?
All
But
right.
yeah, thinks it to himself quietly. Yeah, just like he kept, what the goggles are to himself for now. So
So, anything else you'd like to do? Because technically you are in for a 16-hour ride in Avardo. I'm not gonna force you to talk for 16 hours.
no, I think for now Trevor's actually covered most of the things he was interested in. At least with Valtteri, he's got a few for Toby and audience when we all get back together, but he can't ask those now, so.
Well, you have 16 hours, so if you are the kind of person to start talking to the walls, you can always do that. Or you can try talking to Bob, or you can try talking to Tao, or Valtteri. You can try talking to Orina.
That is what I actually was thinking of to do. Like, trying to sense her and talk to her.
Well, for a moment, you feel excitement.
I look around, like...
And then a sense of fogginess.
Fogginess?
Yeah, like fogginess of thought and perception.
Okay.
A little bit of confusion, maybe, mixed with that.
Okay, I look around of how I know her taking a guess of where she might be if she was in here.
Okay.
Question, are there any cherries around?
Not that you can see. You can always try to open cupboards and small chests.
I'll ask Bob.
Bob looks at you and says, well, that depends.
What do you mean it depends?
What do you want to do with those cherries?
A friend of mine really loves them, and she might be nearby.
Can it eat rocks?
My friend?
Yeah.
I don't know if she can.
I have rock cherries.
What are rock cherries?
I think the name is pretty self-explaining.
Is it a cherry made out of rock or a cherry that looks like a rock?
And Trevor will just speak up and say, "Could you just show us this rock cherry?"
He goes into one of the cupboard and takes out a small red, I'd say fiery red pebble.
I don't think she would eat that. But thanks.
He looks at you and says, "It's good," and he eats it.
Do you have real cherries here?
That is a real cherry. For me.
I'm not a cherry made out of rock.
Oh yeah, we're always trying to get what we don't have, don't we?
I'm just curious. I'm sorry, I don't want to make any problems.
No, of course. Just like every customer's. No, we don't have fleshy cherries here.
Okay. There goes my plan.
You see him take a second one inside the cupboard and go back to his perch.
Well then.
Which, because of the light Trevor just shed, looks like a chair really made for him. There are a few steps so he can just climb on it, sit on it, and it looks quite comfy for him. You feel that you'd probably be very uncomfortable because it looks made out of rock.
Well then. I look around. Do I have to roll something to detect if there might be something where she could be?
Well, Orina?
If she, yeah.
Well, I'd say roll a perception roll, but with disadvantage because you're trying to find an invisible creature.
Okay, what is my perception? Oh, okay. There. That's a 60 plus 4 is a 20, and my second roll 11 plus 4, 15.
So your best roll is?
20, and the second one was 15.
Okay. So you look around and look in a few places where you feel she could be, and you find nothing.
Okay.
I'd say roll a intelligence check, flat intelligence.
Would I pick up and figure out what she's trying to do there? Are you like just looking around at nothing, or since I know that this creature is probably around now?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Do an intelligence check or something if you want.
Yeah. And since you know that she has that, the DC is going to be low. So.
Okay.
I have 17.
Okay.
13 plus 4, so 17.
So yeah, Trevor, you sort of. She seems to be looking for something invisible. So yeah, it feels like she's probably looking for Orina. Valtteri, you said you were looking for?
Where she might be.
No, your second roll.
You told me to roll intelligence. I don't know why.
Yes.
Yeah, you started to tell her to do something, and then I cut you off there. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I got it back. You remember feeling this chain of feelings from Orina before, when she wakes up from an exciting dream.
Okay.
Excitement followed by fogginess, followed by a little bit of disorientation.
Fogginess,
Well,
disorientation.
She just woke up from an exciting dream.
Well, I figure I just tried to find out where she was, and I will say out loud, will you just go to her and let her know you're here? Remember where I told you to direct it to?
I look at him a little bit confused, like, what?
I just say, just trying to help. I told her if she wants to be mad at somebody, to be mad at me.
Okay.
There's no reaction.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting one, but yeah.
Excitement out of a dream, fogginess, and then confusion. Confusion, is that right?
Yeah. So basically, she dreamt about something that was very nice, then she woke up and felt a bit confused.
But why would she feel confused?
Because she's no longer in a dream.
Yeah. I thought maybe of something she sees where she is right now that might confuse her. So I was like trying to get out of that where she might be. But okay.
And then after that, Tao's not much of a conversationalist, so he'll just go back and open his children's book and just read a little bit out of it there to himself. So.
Okay. So, Valtteri, do you do anything else?
I don't think Bob is really that big of a talker, depending on how he just.
You never
Unless
know.
it's probably about stones, but yeah.
Who knows? He has a good poker face.
I'll sit down, but on the floor with my back against the wall and draw Trevor as he's reading.
Okay.
Yes, I can. Do I have to roll a...
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So you are
Performance?
trying to make a picture that feels like what you're seeing.
Yes.
Performance.
Performance. Okay. Oh boy.
Trevor wouldn't notice until he's done reading. Once he gets focused in on something, it's just tunnel vision. So.
Well, it's an 18 and I have 0 in performance, so it's an 18.
Better than my painting.
Does feel good. You know, it's not a masterpiece. You've seen other in the village do better paintings, but you're pretty sure he'd recognize himself?
I normally don't draw people, so yeah. For me, it's
A
success.
little bit out of your skill set there, but yeah, it's a start.
A little bit of a success on my part.
All right. So, Audience and Tobiyashi.
How do you
Hello. Alright, so you were exploring the ship a little bit, Tobiyashi, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Audience, you showed Tobiyashi this room, and then you let him leave the room, go exploring. What do you do?
I'm gonna go probably just try and find the Grim and the priest and see if they figured out what the orb is yet.
I can barely hear you.
I'm going to
Uh-huh.
go. I'm gonna go find Grim and the priest and see if they figured out what the orb is yet.
Alright. Tobiyashi, other than
Yep.
scouring the ship, do you do anything else?
No, just correlating all the marks to see if the ship has an anatomy like an animal would. And
Okay.
then I'm going to after go up to the top deck and see if we're finished like getting everything back on deck and make sure that everything's secure.
Okay. I'm going to say make a
Yeah.
make a medicine check.
Okay. $12.
Well, it's hard to determine because you're actually looking at a structure, and from what you judge this, it would probably feel closer to the construction of a golem than than how an animal is made. So it's a bit hard to determine. But yeah, you have a small sense that it does feel like something organic when you look at it. I mean, you can see the runes going all the way back to the ship, to the rotor. You can even find some on the deck going up the mast and the wheel of the ship. So, yeah. But like I said, you feel a bit out of your element when trying to figure out how this works. It feels like Trevor would have been a better choice to determine how this works.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Fucking Trevor, why the fuck ain't he here?
Yeah, where's the wizard when we need him? Okay, so yeah, I'd go back up on deck and see if they
Okay.
figured out what the orb was.
So, you go back on the deck of the ship, and you find the captain and the priestess deep in a conversation, actually.
Passionate one, I expect.
No, not that kind.
All right, I'll come in closer and listen into what they're saying.
The captain is mostly talking about his ship. Well, the ship has suffered quite heavily, but if we can tow it back to port, I believe we could actually use this ship to keep trading while this one is being repaired, and when it's repaired, we could actually have a fleet of 2 ships. Could be good
Hey.
for commerce. And this ship looks sturdy. We might even be able to extend our commerce to another island chain. Here the priestess answers, "Oh yes, that would be fine, but I wouldn't be able to be on both ship at the same time. We probably need to hire quite a few people. Maybe also another priestess?" Captain said, "Yes. Well, fortunately we did find a lot of gold downstairs, so we will be able to hire people, and we were able to manage to save most of our merchandise. We won't have to replace a lot of what was lost." having 2 ships would be nice. I really hope that our ship survive until we get to shore. We did take quite a lot of damage, and it did slow us down. So, fortunately, we won't. Dobyoshi, are you still there?
Yes, I'm listening. Sorry, my
Okay.
cat was getting into stuff.
All right, so no, that's okay. So the captain says, it would be good to be able to have to have 2 ships, and well, since we were delayed by all of this, we'll probably arrive during the night. I was hoping we'd get there before night so we wouldn't have to sleep on board, especially on this eerie ship. Something feels odd about this. You hear the priestess says, well, yeah, I've asked the kobold for help. Apparently he has a few spells written in his book. He's identifying all the objects we found. I put the orb in the pile, so he'll probably be able to tell us what's in there in a few hours. There were quite a few of them. What about our 2 passengers? You know, they were very useful. Captain answers, well, yes, they were.
I walk
They're
up.
going... Yeah.
Well, I would say that the ship feels a little eerie because I think it's alive.
Well, yes, that actually does make sense. The ship seems to have had a mind of its own. I did find this, and he goes into a little pouch on the side and takes out a little book. It says, I found it near the wheel. Apparently the captain kept a diary, for a while at least. He was just a poor soul who found himself here. He really didn't start out as a pirate. It seems like the ship slowly took over him. It all started when he found the orb and studied it at length. Slowly it twisted his mind.
Yeah, the audience was about halfway to tune into it. Almost
do you
got
think
that
anyone
Oathbreaker
deserved it?
Paladin. I almost got it.
Close.
And, well, actually, the story is a bit tragic. If you want to read it yourself, I don't mind giving you the book. I can just summarize this. Otherwise, it's a long story, but there are very few interesting passages.
Okay. I'll just take it and say that I'll read it on our way home.
He hands it to you.
Okay. Take it. And I'll read it when we start leaving.
Leaving the ship, or as you were just leaving the deck?
No, like when we're going back to the port.
On shore.
Yes.
Okay. So he hands it to you. Do you leave or do you stay there?
I'm gonna say also. So do you think that we should halt on having people investigate the orb until we get to land? Because, as you said, it made the captain of the ship go crazy.
Well, the kobold is actually identifying everything we've found. So maybe you should talk more to him to see
Okay.
what we should do about this.
I'm gonna go down there and find him.
Okay. Audience.
Well, I said I had gone to find the piece of cabin, so I either found them before or after. So then I'd probably, if I saw that the orb wasn't with them and I heard the thing about Grim, I would have probably gone to go find him. So we'd probably meet because that's what I'm interested in.
Okay. Well, yeah, you probably found your way to the main deck while they were talking about this. So, yeah, there's good. Yeah, I'd say you would have heard most of the conversation.
So I'm also gonna go find Grim.
Okay. You go below deck, and you actually do find Grim quite easily. He's in the room where all the treasure was. And he's patiently taking one object, taking his book, trying to figure out what it is, ritually casting Identify on every single object. And there actually is quite a pile beside him.
I'll go up to him. I'll be like, "You find anything cool?"
Well, I haven't found anything that does cold thing, no.
No, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find any?
Took audience a minute there with. Okay,
Like, wait.
all right, I get you.
Useful magical item.
So, but there are quite a few magical objects in this. A lot of this is just junk and jewelry and nice swords and shields, but only a few of them are magical. I'm not done. I still have a lot of things to identify.
Anything new about the orb?
Oh yeah, actually, the orb is. It's a bit fascinating, you know. It's probably going to be something for the priestess because there is something corrupted inside of it. But it actually, it's made to connect with the heart of the ship. It's essentially how you can relay orders, and then the orders go from there to the ship. And the crew of the ship, actually, which are now all skeletons.
So, what do you think would have happened if I destroyed it?
I think the ship would have fallen apart.
Good to know. Good to know.
Now.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a bit damaged now. I think someone was trying to hit it too hard.
Yeah. Well, you know, destroying corruption is kind of
Oh, yeah,
my job. So.
I would finally take the ropes off of each one of my wrists. And, yeah, I just remembered about that.
Just walking around with him, just dragging the floor.
Yeah, just like dragging along, and people are just like, "What is he doing?" Just, like,
Oh yeah,
the
of course.
ritual summon, yeah.
What the hell is wrong with him?
So Grim looks at you and says, "Well, if you come back in a few hours, I think the captain said that he'd let you pick something once
Okay.
I'm done identifying everything."
Ooh. Excellent.
Alright, and I'll go up there, read the book, and wait for us to leave.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a nap because I'm still honestly very injured. And I haven't had a chance to rest at all.
Yeah, sure. You have enough time to take a short rest.
I'm like, you know what? I'm in pain.
Dying too. It's
Just-
fine.
I just wanna.
Stay on hand, maybe
So
some
if
good-
you wanna gain hit point because of the variant rule I'm using, you either have to succeed a medicine check yourself or find someone very proficient in it to make it for you.
I would find the priestess to make it for me.
All right. So yes, of course she will. She
Still
will
has
do
some
her best.
common sense in that intelligence, at least.
Yeah. No. So yes, of course, she would do her best to bandage you, which would be. Yeah. Yeah, she succeeds.
Okay. So that would be 1d12?
No, it's your hit dice, so it's a D10.
1d10. D10, yeah, no. And a long rest is 2d10, but this is 1d10.
A long rest, you can use all of the hit dice you have. A short rest is only half of your hit dice that you can use in a single short rest. And you don't forget to add your constitution modifier to what you regain.
Yes. Okay. I regained 7, so I'm back up to 10.
That's good.
Excellent. I don't know, do I gain any of my spells back? I think that might not be until
Not for a short rest.
Yeah, no. I'm just checking all my things. Do I gain lay on hands? Is that short or long? So that's long also.
I think the only thing that you would regain from a short rest would be your breath weapon.
Yes. I think that is... Yeah. That is true. But I gained back some health, so cool. Okay.
All right, so Tobiashi, what you learn from reading the book is actually the captain of the ship was little more than a teenager when he found himself on board the ship, which also explains a bit his name. It's more or less a teenager's fantasy of pirate life. He wasn't alone when it started. There were others, but as time went by, he found himself always driven to command the ship, push it toward other ship, attack, pillage, and slowly any friends he had died of injuries, and they just came back up as undead. And time went by, he got older, and suddenly the entries in the journal become not as well formulated. It shows that slowly whatever was happening took over his mind, and he sort of became a bit confused, always seeing other ships as enemies and starting to talk about liberating the seas from those who had treasures, and always being pushed by a power that he couldn't understand toward treasures that was on the sea. For some reason, he was always able to find them, as if something searched for him and then told him. That's the story. I think you raised your microphone because I can't hear.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Okay. I read that, and then I would at least let the captain know about what happened in the story if he wants to listen to me.
Of course.
And then I'd go over and just wait below deck and like help out with the ship and move stuff around and move the injured, since I have medicine.
All right. So everything that happened, the fight was around midday. So at the end of the day, the sun is starting to set. The captain calls you an audience to the treasure chamber.
Yeah.
All right. We'll head down.
Yeah, we head down.
So as you arrive at the chamber, there is Grim already there. You see the priestess, and you also see the captain. Captain turns to you both of you, and he both hands you a pouch filled with coins.
Ooh.
And so, well, this is the law of the sea, and even though you're not members of this crew, you were instrumental in helping us survive this. So, here's your share of the gold. Of course, we did take the money to repair our ship first, but this is your share of everything that was left. And because you helped, and he looks at Tobiyashi, audience, and Grim, he says, we will each let you choose one of the magical object Grim identified. And because he was such a nice help, and because he was so eager to help, if you don't mind, I am going to let Grim choose his object first.
I don't mind.
Yeah, I don't mind at all. I only won the 1v1 duel that saved all you guys. No, I mean, absolutely. Grim goes. I don't say that out loud. I'm just
All
saying
right.
absolutely.
It's like, fuck, I did all the work. Shit.
Like I had to jump across the ship and almost break my ankle. No.
But Grim did spend 3 hours identifying object. So, well, as soon as he says this and you all say you're okay with this, really? I get something? Oh, this is rare. I want this bag. He takes one of the bag, strap it on himself, and he's like, oh, I've got everything I wanted. This is... What did you say it was? Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means, but it sounds nice saying it here. All right.
So he took a bag.
Yes, he took a bag. A small
Do we
pouch.
know what it is?
No, unless you want to ask him.
I'll ask. I'll be like, "What'd you take?"
It's a bag that you can put a lot of stuff in.
I assumed it was either that or the cursed one.
Cursed. She takes the cursed item immediately.
Yeah.
Bag of devouring, yeah.
Yeah. That's a
No,
good
for a
weapon.
kobold to be able to carry so much stuff is... Well,
Oh,
it's...
Oh,
A dream come true.
Yeah.
Like, look at this rock and this rock.
Yeah. Kobolds tend to be kind of pack rats, so there you go.
All right, so he chose this. For the two of you, Grim goes through the object. Well, he says he shows another bag and he says, "Well, this one isn't really magical in any ways, but well, if you want to increase the amount of money that you get from this, it's filled with gems." And he shakes it a little bit, and you really hear it feels like they're all small gems, but there's a few of them in there. And you've heard that gems can be used in many magical spells, so it could be useful.
It's too bad Trevor's not here to take it.
Yeah. And as a matter of
Oh, no.
fact,
Did we ever hear him talking about diamonds?
yeah, he was looking for a gem. Yeah. So yeah, too bad. And as a matter of fact, one of the object is a scroll case, and inside there are scrolls. 3 of them actually.
Ooh, I would actually like that. Can I take that?
He says, "Well, you can only take one object, so you want the scroll of you want the magical scrolls?"
Okay, let me look around first. I'll think about it.
Okay. So he takes a small stone and he says, This is called Luckstone. Then he takes a satchel, which you hear things clinging inside. This is a satchel that has healing potions in. He flips open the cover and you see 6 potions inside.
Healing potions.
He takes a small pearl and he says, "This is called a Pearl of Power."
Oh, wow.
What's that mean?
Sorry?
What does that
Okay, I have a
mean?
quick question.
Yes?
I could tell you, but I'm not there.
Do I see anything that was in my dream in here?
No.
Or no? No?
No.
Okay, just wondering.
Audience hears the word power and is like, what is that? Explain further.
I could tell you out of character. Use it as an action and allows you to recover a 3rd level spell slot. And if you don't have
Oh
a
my
spell
God.
slot, then it just recovers your highest spell slot. So
Okay.
All right. He takes a little. Oh boy, how do you write this? How do I pronounce this?
Maybe it's Germanish.
Yeah.
Maybe I can spell it out.
No, I doubt it is. Keoktam ointment.
Ointment? And
Yes.
spell it for me.
K. Keoghtom.
I haven't heard
I'm
of
not
that
sure how
one.
to pronounce it.
Pluton.
What it does, it's a glass jar 3 inch in diameter containing a thick mixture that smell faintly of aloe. What it does is that if applied to the skin, it heals and it removes poison, curse, or and disease.
Yeah, I looked it up now. Yeah, okay.
Now, I'm just not sure how to pronounce it.
Yeah, that's
Well, I already have an ability that does that.
I just noticed the time. So
Oh.
we're gonna go through the object very quick, and you're gonna be able to think about this
For next time.
for next
Yeah.
time. Yes. So
Okay.
there's a. Okay, I'm gonna go quickly on this. Circlet of blasting. Which is essentially something that throws a fire spell.
I was gonna say afterwards. You can always just type it up and post it in the group chat too. And
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So for those watching, I'm just gonna give the name of each. Next time we will explain them because I don't want to go too long over this. And since I already started, so there is a circlet of blasting. There is a decanter filled with, well, not to the brim, but filled with water. There is a bottle that has smoke inside. You see a little figurine of a silver figurine made in the image of a raven.
Ooh.
You see scrolls, the luck stone. Most people know what this is. It gives bonus to saving throw and
I think attack rolls too. Attack rolls and saving throws. I think.
The bag of
And-
hope.
there are
Or is it ability checks and saving throws?
yeah, and there are 3 other objects: a dagger, a long sword, and a short sword. The short sword has a bit of a Chinese design, and it's a +1. Long sword also, and the dagger is also has a +1.
Okay.
to attack.
Love those +1 weapons.
Oh, and the bag of gems and whatever it is, whatever all that other stuff.
Yeah, the bag of gem is mostly just it's a bag of assorted gem holding 25 gems.
I mean, I can almost guarantee you right now I'll probably take the longsword, but
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave you with this. Think about what you want. You only get to take one object from this.
okay.
Each
And how
of
much
you.
gold did we get for the bag?
You
At the
got 75 gold piece,
Oh, okay.
226 silver piece, and 344
Oh
copper
my gosh.
piece.
You might have
Wait,
to.
how much copper?
344 copper piece.
Okay.
Okay, let's add this.
Wow.
Let's see. So 75.
Big money.
Wow.
It's the loot of a pirate ship.
And they
Divided.
took money away.
Sorry?
Shoot. I said, and they took money away. Shoot.
How much silver? Sorry again.
The silver is 226 silver.
And then how much copper?
344.
Okay. All right, I am a lot richer than
Same.
I was before.
Yeah. And all he's going to do is just donate it to a church.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Or
it is.
have a lot more bards create songs.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you could pay 7 bards to do more songs.
Yep,
of-
start spreading the word. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could buy a whole orchestra for it.
Yeah. All right.
So for the object, audience and Tobiyashi, I'm gonna send you the list. Do you also want to know what each object does?
Yes.
Yes,
All right.
please.
All right, I'm gonna send you that also. For the
Okay.
scrolls, well, I'm pretty sure that you can easily find this. The rest.
Yeah.
So, sorry for those watching. I had to cut this a little bit short because I'd already started to tell about the magic object. I just wanted to make sure that everyone has. Everyone was able to choose. Sorry. So we're gonna pick up next time with the party choosing their object and most likely reuniting, unless someone does something stupid and.
Again.
Finally! Yeah.
All right.
We'll see each other for 1 second and then we'll split the party again. Don't worry,
Yeah.
guys.
All right,
All right,
so
I gotta go.
thank you everyone for watching, and
Bye.
we hope we'll see you again next Wednesday. Don't forget, spread the love of D&D so we can keep this alive for as long as we can.
All right.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Bye
I'll
everyone.
see you guys.
Bye.